Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. To help more people find the podcast, please rank it with 5 stars or the equivalent in your app where you're listening to it and recommend it to your friends and family. Only with your help we can reach wider audience. My name is Artem and here is the news. For 181 days, Ukraine stands strong against the Russian invasion. Yesterday, Ukraine celebrated its National Flag Day. To mark the date, the country's largest flag was raised in Kyiv. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky noted that Ukraine's flag has gone through a lot and was present at many places, from battlefields to space. He expressed belief that the blue-yellow flag will fly again where it should be by right, over the all-occupied territories of Ukraine. The International Crimea Platform Summit took place yesterday in Kyiv and online, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to the President Volodymyr Zelensky, 60 leaders of different countries took part in the meeting of the platform, including Polish President Andrzej Duda, who visited Kyiv in person. The President of Ukraine expressed confidence that the Crimea platform could become a model for resolving conflicts in the world. At the event, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal presented the basic concept of restoring Crimea after the deoccupation, emphasizing the goal of turning the peninsula into a blooming garden. The Prime Minister presented the idea of turning Crimea into a year-round recreation center, the construction of hotels in cooperation with world chains, the launch of medical tourism, and the construction of the largest concert hall in southern Ukraine. The plan also provides for energy system development with an emphasis on green energy. In addition, it is planned to develop agriculture on the peninsula with an emphasis on the wine industry. He informed that 8 years of occupation of Crimea resulted in estimated losses of about $118 billion. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, during his speech at the Crimean platform, stressed the need to provide Ukraine with all the necessary military, humanitarian, economic and diplomatic support to counter Russian aggression, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to him, the Russian president is planning attacks on new parts of Ukraine. Johnson warned that Putin is preparing more annexation and more sham referendums. Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson said during the Crimea platform meeting that Sweden will soon announce additional comprehensive packages to strengthen Ukraine's resilience, reports Ukrinform. She stressed that, quote, "the stronger Ukraine is, the safer the rest of us are," unquote. The Associated Press informs that the US authorities are planning to announce a new $3 billion military aid package for Ukraine, reports RBK Ukraine. According to the media sources, the US will make an announcement this Wednesday on Ukraine's Independence Day. The aid will be used to train and equip Ukrainian forces to fight for years to come. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky reminded Ukrainians about the need to be extra careful on Ukraine's Independence Day, August 24th. He asked everyone to follow the safety rules, observe the curfew, pay attention to the air sirens and official announcements. He stressed that hideous Russian provocations and brutal strikes are possible. The US Embassy in Ukraine urged American citizens to leave Ukraine urgently due to the available information that Russia is stepping up efforts to strike at civilian infrastructure and state facilities in Ukraine in the coming days, reports Interfax Ukraine. Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine Oleksiy Danilov believes that the Federal Security Service of Russia (FSB) plans to carry out a series of terrorist acts in Russia with mass casualties among the civilian population, reports Liga. According to him, with falling support for the war in Russia, the Kremlin needs public mobilization. Danilov stressed that unlike Russia, Ukraine is not at war with civilians. The president of Ukraine said to the media that he does not plan to transfer Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Valery Zaluzhny from his post, reports Union. He stressed that they are working as one team. Answering a question about how the head of state assesses the work of Zaluzhny, Zelensky answered that the assessment is high. Quote, "When we win, there will be the highest assessment," unquote. Volodymyr Zelensky said to the media that it is too early to assess government's effectiveness, reports Ukrinform. The president sees the ability to continue to pay high wages in the army and the successful passage of the upcoming heating season as key criteria to assess the current government. Plus, it is important to continue to pay salaries for teachers, medical workers, and retired citizens. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal says that by the end of 2024, Ukraine plans to be fully ready to join the European Union, reports Hromadske. According to him, Ukraine continues to actively implement European legislation and has already fulfilled about 70% of the association agreement with the EU. He stressed that European integration work has not stopped for a day. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy continues to focus its efforts on establishing full control over the territory of Donetsk region, maintaining the captured districts of Kherson, parts of Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Mykolaiv regions, and restoring the combat capability of units that have suffered losses, reports Union. Russian invaders continue to carry out air and missile attacks on civilian objects on the territory of Ukraine. Defense Minister of Ukraine Oleksiy Reznikov believes that Ukraine has already crossed the line when the worst-case scenario of a war with Russia could be expected, reports Ukrainska Pravda. In an interview with CNN, Reznikov said that Ukraine is on a threshold of a new stage of the war because it is launching a counter-offensive. Our Patreon supporters get access to a cool new series on wartime life in Ukraine. To join the club, follow the link in the description below. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.